friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylin. If you are new, this is Full Purpose and Heart, and it feels so good to be back documenting our homeschool journey. If you missed my last video, I posted it last week. It was just an update video as to where I have been and why I haven't been posting. So if you haven't checked out that video, then I'll put a little link here. You need to go check it out because we're friends and you're going to want to know where I've been and where we're going. So this video is going to be an update on our curriculum, where we are, what we've done in the last year, because I don't think I've posted an update since September or so, and just kind of let you know some stuff that I'm using. So hopefully in this video, maybe I can spark some ideas or some kind of inspiration that you'll be able to get some things for your own kiddos. This is our new dog. She's always close by, so she might pop her head in a few of my videos here. But anyway, so without further ado, on with the show. Okay, so let's start with family school. For family school, this is something that all of the kids do together, and I don't really modify it too much for my kindergartner versus my fifth grader. So they all just kind of do what they can and we work together. So we'll start with that. So first and foremost is our science unit. So we've been doing this is Let's Talk Science, and this is the third book in their series. I believe that they have 4 books. It's a master books curriculum, and we've been doing this all year long. And we are now I don't know, where are we? We're on week 12. So if that goes to show you how busy my work schedule has forced me to be, then woof. But it's been such a good curriculum. I love it so much because it really lays everything out for you. It's very digestible and it just covers everything so great. My only con would be that I feel like it does move a little bit slow. I feel like we've been in the boreal forest for forever, and I mean, it's been 12 weeks, and so I just feel like I wish it would move just a little bit more, a little bit faster, which is very easily modified because you can just skip some units and move on to where you want to go. But it has been really good. It's set up so that you can do 1 day per week, or 1 lesson per day in your 5-day work week. I do all of them in 1 day. So, and then we either do another one, so we can do 2 chapters, but because of the way that my schedule's been, we've been not doing it very often. But I have loved this curriculum, and I'm probably going to carry it into our next school year because, I mean, there's all of this that we haven't done. And it's a good book. I'm not bored of it yet. So that's been really good. History has been so fun, but it has not gone the way that I wanted to. So for this year in history, I wanted to cover all of American history from the beginning up through moving west. Please, we're not even close. But we did do 2 really solid units. So the first one, I don't have any thing to show you, but it was the explorations. And I found a thing on Teachers Pay Teachers. I didn't pull out anything to show you, but it was so good because the kids had a paper thing that they filled out, but the creator had made an interactive PowerPoint presentation for the kids to be able to do. So I just pulled that up on our computers, and each of the kids were able to do their own research on the explorers. And it was very interactive for them, but it wasn't me teaching them, which was kind of awesome because I teach them so much. Everything that we do comes from me almost always. And so anyway, it was just a really cool way for me to pass off a learning experience to them, a very great beginner set to say, here's an individual. I want you to research what this person did in their life that contributed to history, which in this experience was exploration. And it was a very controlled environment. I didn't set them off into the internet. It was awesome. So I highly recommend it. I wish I even knew, because I think that there's a lot of Teachers Pay Teachers products that you could buy that have this kind of interactive learning platform. And I can't remember what it was or who the creator was or anything like that, but I'll try to do some research and find it for you, and I'll put it in the description box below. After exploration, we moved into colonization, and we did this, and this is a, do I have it right here? Oh gosh. Well, I don't have this particular book. where I can grab it, but it's this is the kind of whatever, right? This obviously is Ancient Civilizations, but it's an Evan Moore product. It's a history pocket, and I love them. And this year, instead of making it, like this is how they tell you to do it, like on a giant piece of paper that you fold. I've done so many of those, but I was feeling really like frustrated with the storage of it because the storage was a nightmare, that I decided to do it as a medical folder and to put all of our stuff inside the medical folder. And so it's been great. My con is that everything, if you do it on like the big piece of paper like they suggest, everything will fit better. But we had to like cut this way down. I had to like copy it and shrink it to size. The papers, I mean, they barely fit. But overall, like it hasn't been a terrible experience. I also coupled it with some other stuff. So I'm going to do another video that'll kind of tell you what we did for the Colonial America thing, but it's been so good. So as a review, the medical folder worked great, but just know that when you copy things out of the actual book, you're going to have to make it a little bit smaller, because by the time you tape these pockets on here, it's going to be smaller than that 8.5 size, like a book size. So, okay, so that was history. It's been very slow, but moving forward, we're jumping into the Revolutionary War next and the birth of a nation. So that's my goal, is to get through a birth of a nation before the end of the school year. So we're going to get there. Okay, journals. We have been doing daily journals. So this is my youngest child's daily journal. And every day I've been my goal is every day to give them a prompt and just to practice writing with their prompts, but it hasn't been as successful or like as regular as I want. So my goal is to pick up our journals again. So at the beginning of every class, we have some kind of handwriting activity with that. And then finally, as a group, we've done pretty well with reading. I'm actually pretty impressed. So at the beginning of the year, we started this series. It's a 3-book series. The author is Timmy Thompson. No, this is the author, J.I. Wagner. But the book is called Timmy Thompson. This is the character, Timmy Thompson. And there's just these legend books. This is the Legend of the Star Runner. It was the first one. So good. Can I highly recommend it? You can get them on Amazon, but the author is actually from England, I think. I don't know. It's across the pond. But anyway, this is how these books work. I highly recommend them. You have to buy them for your kids. Your older kids can read them on their own. He also has a younger version so you can read it to your kids, but they're so fun. Okay. So you read the chapter, blah, 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 right? They're just words and they're really short chapters. And then at the end of the chapter, there's a picture here and a question. The magnifying glass indicates how difficult the challenge is. And it says, it wouldn't work with a cup. We need a glass. Can you see glass? And so you have to like look through the picture and see if you can figure out what it is. Like this one says, which room must Sir London have been in? So using the text, it kind of gives you a hint, and then you like try to solve it. And then within the couple of sentences in the next page, it gives you the answer. So how did I realize Sir London was most likely a thief? So then you look at all these things. Oh my gosh, my kids loved these books. We read through them so fast, and we did this at the beginning of the school year. So that was super fun. We've done 3. Well, we're on our 3rd literature unit. So the first one we did was this was the first one we did. The One and Only Ivan. And we did this one back in October. I'm going to be honest, we didn't finish it, first of all. Number one, if you go back to my videos, I had shown you how I like set this all up. So I like printed all the pages 3 times. I made them into these cute little books because we did this as like road school. So we took this with us when we were road schooling. And in theory, it was a great idea, but unfortunately the book, I've read the book. Well, that's not true. I've watched the movie, but the book is really sad. There's just a lot of sad. And so we didn't get through it because it just talks about Ivan and how he lives in this teeny tiny circus. And then they bring in, the baby elephant and the older elephant. I can't remember the characters' names, but anyway, is sick. And anyway, so it just was so sad. I felt like every time we went through another chapter, it didn't like start picking up and get to the happy spot, So anyway, we didn't finish this book. So that's the story of the one and only Ivan. We then moved on to Because of Winn-Dixie. I don't have this that goes with it, but just as a review for this, it's the same company that published this that did Because of Winn-Dixie. I prepared it differently in that I didn't print off every single page. Just at the end of the chunk of chapters, I just printed off a few of the pages that I wanted my kids to complete. So it's good in that it gives you a couple of ideas for like reading comprehension or just diving in deeper or story elements, that sort of thing. So I do like the product, but as like a whole curriculum, I just don't see, I don't know, maybe in like a public school classroom you might, but you're not going to use every single page in here. I had intended to, but by the end of the first several chunks, I was like, nah, that's not going to work. So when we came to Because of Winn-Dixie, I did a lot of reading, and then we would go back and I would do a couple of pages here or there, you know? So they had some good ideas about like the tree that the lady had all of the jars hanging off of. If you've read the book, then you'll know. And the lemons, like the sadness that the lemons make you taste, there was an activity for that. Anyway, if you found a dog, what would you name it? All of these different kinds of themes. And we got this book and started reading it shortly after we adopted our new dog. So that was kind of fun because the character in the book adopts a dog and we had just adopted our dog. So that was a lot of fun. So anyway, and then the last one that we're about halfway through but haven't finished is James and the Giant Peach. Now this is a different publisher, and if you go back in my videos, I did do a review of this and kind of like a look in the book deeper in, but this one has been more fun because it's less handwriting and more crafts. And my kids really love art and crafts and creating. And so, like, for example, here's some stick puppets. This is the next thing that we're going to do is tell the first half of the story using these stick puppets. And so anyway, it has been a lot of fun to use this as like an addendum, but I really have stepped away from making it a literature unit based solely off of my experience in a public school English classroom. And I've said it before on this channel, but I don't know anything about teaching English, and all I can do is go off of what I have seen in public school. I know that there's lots of different ways to teach it in Charlotte Mason and blah, blah, blah. But for me, like, experience and watching other people do it is the best way that I learn how to do it. And from that, I can adopt it into something different. And so this is kind of this chapter we're in right now as far as literature units, is that I just am winging it. But we are reading more. I read aloud to my kids a lot, and more than I have in the past. So that feels good. Okay, so that is a review of the books that we have. Now, let's shift gears really quick. I'll just kind of talk about my 3 kids independently and what they're doing on their own by subject. So first is math. My oldest did teaching textbooks. He's in 5th grade. And we have been doing Horizons math. So this is Horizons, right? Up through his 4th grade year, we did Horizons. And then in 4th grade, we switched and we did Christian Light Education for the second half. And then starting in 5th grade, we started teaching textbooks. With that history, going into teaching textbooks, we went to about halfway through the curriculum is where we picked up, because the first half was so all review. Even though for the curriculum it was like new content, but for us it was all review because of what we had done with previous curriculums, being a little bit ahead of the game, I guess you could say. So he finished all of his math in about February, middle of February. So we picked up, instead of moving on to grade 6, we just picked up, these are Christian Light Education. Oh, that's not it. We picked up this. This is Evan Moore, Skill Sharpeners Math. And he just does 2-ish pages a day. We just barely started doing this, but they're all themed, and it's just kind of, this one he didn't do. He skipped it because I was like, that's a lot of work. I don't know. So, but we just barely picked this up and started kind of refreshing our skills. And it's going to cover all of the 5th grade stuff. And so from here, we're just going to kind of see, what did teaching textbooks teach him? What do we need to focus more on? I think it's going to be a really good opportunity to review or to evaluate the effectiveness of teaching textbooks. I have had a couple of people tell me, like, a warning sign, like, watch out because teaching textbooks has a tendency to allow children to do the problems without necessarily learning them. And so I picked this up. We're going to finish this off through the rest of the year, and it'll be a great opportunity for us to evaluate what did teaching textbooks do for us before we pick it up in grade 6, if we choose to do that. So for that, and then my younger kiddos are still doing Horizons. So we have kindergarten for my youngest, and then second grade for my middle child. And we just rip one page out of the book every time that we do it. If you've been around my channel for a long time, you know I've done all different kinds of ways of organizing the school year. The crate system was the most, the one that I used the longest. It was the most organized. But when we started road schooling, it wasn't really very effective anymore. And now we've just kind of gone to ripping out one page a day. So my goal is to finish each of these books so that they can start book 2. Now, my younger kids are fall birthdays. So in theory, as a part of the public school system, they are a year ahead. So I technically start their school year in January, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's kind of confusing to use words about it, but if we can start the second book in the middle of the school year, then they'll technically be on track for where they're going. Anyway, it's confusing, but that's the goal, is that we will start book 2 when we start our new school years. Okay, so that is math. As far as language arts go, okay, so for language arts, we did Lexia this year, Lexia, Lexia. And I have a lot of love for Lexia. If you watched my previous video, you know why we had a lot of online learning this year, which gratefully we now get to step away from, and I get to go back to teaching my kids the old-fashioned way. But Lexia has been beneficial for us, and I'm still on the fence as to whether or not we will use it in the future. But it has been nice to be able to cover all aspects of the language arts program using this electronic teaching platform. So that's what my 2 younger kids are still doing. And my oldest graduated from Lexia. There's 21 levels, and he finished it in about May. So he finished all of his Lexia content. So we moved him into, here we go, Christian Light Education. So there are 6 light units, or 6 books for this, I believe. 4, 5, I guess maybe there's, I'm pretty sure there's 6. It's 500, 51, 52, 503. Anyway, I think that there's 6 books. I got the last 2 books for this. And then it also comes with a reader. So my son reads the story and then he does the lessons. And they're really short lessons. There's no color. So if you know, then you know. Kaylin loves books that are like bursting with color and drawings. This does not have that, but they're just really short lessons, and I just have him do, he didn't finish his lesson last time, the little stinker pot. Anyway, it has all of the components. So we talk about vocabulary, we talk about writing, we talk about grammar, and then a story comprehension. And then it also has these really good, clean stories in here. Now, Christian Light Education is obviously a Christian publisher, so they all have that kind of character rooted in Christ, you know, type of teaching. Their scriptures on the top, which I love to incorporate that as much as I can in our school year. So anyway, that's what my 5th grader is doing. And then my 2nd and kindergartner are still doing the online Lexia, which they will finish out through the school year. One last little thing that I'll show you that I'm doing with my kindergartner, and I have done this with all of my kids. I have a review video here on my channel, but this is it's called Little Thinkers Social Studies, and it's, you buy it on Teachers Pay Teachers, and I purchased 3 of her 6 units. The first one being I Am a Good Citizen. Okay, it's March, and these are like 10 lesson units. It's taken me this long to get to lesson 10, but we just finished. Okay, my life has been a little crazy, but I love these. So this is just another like plug for such a great, inexpensive way that you can engage with your kids and teach them how to be a good citizen. I can't even remember what the other 2 are. I think that My Community is unit 4, which is, I think, what we do next. I think there's a unit 3. Anyway, whatever it is. So my goal is to finish the last 2 units before the end of the school year, which is going to be in May. So anyway, but they're so fun. This is what I print off. Now there's a PowerPoint component, and then there's books that she recommends and all of the lesson plans. I didn't print that off for you to look at, but I will put in the description box below. You know what? Instead, I'm going to put it in the eye in the sky here. The link to my review video, which will have the description box, and you can go and find it there. But I have loved it all of these years. And it's the thing I love about Teachers Pay Teachers is you purchase it once and then you can use it for all of the years to come. And one of my great sad regrets with the way that my life went this last year is that my kindergartner is growing, and all of those fun units and, things like this, or when you get to do the rainbows or the butterflies, or even like Halloween and Christmas, all those fun units that kindergarten allows you to teach through, I kind of missed. So we're going to be going back and doing it again in first grade, because my life was just in such a phase that I couldn't pour into my homeschooling life with full purpose and heart, regrettably. So anyway, so that is where we are. That's where our curriculum is right now, and kind of hopefully where we're gonna go, my plans. And then I've got my planner. It's kind of in my basket back here. I'm gonna update my planner and get everything kind of situated now that I am back in the groove and my schedule is my own again, and we'll be able to focus on our school year. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you got some ideas. Something I always do, this is I'll tag it on here at the end of the video. When I watch these kinds of videos, is I always have paper next to me and I write down those things that pop out. And then if they don't put it in the description box below, and no hate to them, because I'm telling you, I know what it's like to have to try to keep all of that content in there as well. Just Google search it and you can, usually find those kinds of things. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. Subscribe if you liked this kind of content, or if you want to hang out with us over the next coming months as we finish up our school year. And then of course, we've got next year coming too. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.